my music. There we go. And we're back, y'all. The HBCU Daily Grind. I'm gonna play the music just a little bit more so you get used to it. I want to thank Mike Ballard for providing this beat for us. And yes, we are an hour early today. I know people are saying, what? He live already? Yep, we're live already. You know, so this is the HBCU Daily Grind, a special time only for this week. And before we get to our special guest, because as you can see, we have a special guest there. I just want to let you know that the HBCU Daily Grind is all about resources beyond the yard. For those who don't know, my name is Omar Muhammad. I'm an HBCU advocate, alum, and always helping you improve and progress in business and in life. And you can find us on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at HBCU by Association. So if you go there, you'll find more information about what we do. And we have a website. The website is HBCU by Association. So if you missed all those wonderful past episodes of the HBCU Daily Grind, you can just hit right over to HBCU by Association. And without further ado, let me bring to the mic Donya Zimmerman. Hey, Donya, it's good to see you.
Hi, how are you, Amara? Thank you for having me on here. And I'm Donya Zimmerman, and I'm a HBCU alumni as well. And I'm excited to be on your show today.
I hear you. You jumping right into it. So let's jump right into it. So what HBCU did you attend, and what was your major?
I attended the University of Maryland Eastern Shore down there in Eastern Shore near Salisbury State. And it used to be called Maryland College before it became part of the University of Maryland system. And I went there from 1989, I'm telling my age, 1989 to 1993. And I graduated with a BA in sociology and a minor in pre-law.
Wow, sociology. All right, so you're giving me some history because I didn't know it was actually called, you said Maryland College before that.
Yes, Maryland College.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Good deal. So all the individuals that come on to the HBCU Daily Grind, we go through this fun exercise, or at least I think it's fun. It's really about 4 areas that are, I think, quadrants that HBCUs have. And just let me know which one or 2 or 3 or 4 resonates with you. All right. So the first one is homecoming, and it just happens to spell HBCU. That's what I was about to say. So the first one is homecoming. The B is for Black excellence. The C is for clubs and organizations. And the U is for a united place on campus. So HBCU, H is for homecoming, B is for Black excellence, C is for clubs and organizations, and the U is for united place on campus. So which one or all, or maybe none, resonates with you?
Well, unfortunately, UMES never had a football team. So I used to either come home to Morgan to see the Morgan Bears play, because I grew up down the street and I still live down the street from Morgan. Or I used to go to Howard with all of my friends who went to see the, Howard Bison. So homecoming really didn't resonate because we had to go to other HBCUs because we had no football team. But Black excellence resonated with me because I remember Ella Fitzgerald, she donated a lot of money to UMES. And they named the Performing Arts Center after Ella Fitzgerald. And that's why I say Black excellence, because I went to school with Heavy D's brother. He was down there. Heavy D's brother was down there. Also, I met the young man whose father used to play with Bruce Springsteen in the East Street Band, the saxophone player. His son went there. And we had, when they had a football team, we had a lot of football players who would come back. They were alumni and they were professional football players, and they would come back. And Ella Fitzgerald gave us money to UMES, and we built the Ella Fitzgerald Performing Arts Center after her. So that's what Black excellence means to me. And then I think about Earl Graves, how y'all built the business center and named it after him. And I didn't know he was alumni of Morgan. Until when he died, they did his obituary, and it was wonderful. I read about it. I was able to look at some scenes. And also when I think about Black excellence, I think about Howard University, how you have Thurgood Marshall, who wasn't allowed to go to the University of Maryland Law School, and he wound up going to Howard University. And the board, Brown versus the Board of Education, mostly all of those lawyers went to Howard University, who were the attorneys on there, for the NAACP and the Brown versus Board of Education case. So I believe you think of Morehouse, Dr. King came from Morehouse, Spelman, you think of all of these historically Black colleges. And, Bethune, she started a college for girls. So that's what Black excellence. So that what really resonates with me. And C, I think you said community and organizations.
Clubs
and organizations. And without those organizations, like the NAACP, a lot of historically Black colleges wouldn't have started because we were not allowed to go to white man's college. So we had to create our own colleges. If it wasn't for like organizations like the NAACP, we wouldn't have the colleges we had. And I think C stands for community, because a lot of the historically if you think about it, a lot of the historically Black colleges and universities were started by family members who wanted to make sure that their children got an education. Think of Tuskegee University. That was started by Booker T in a community there. And that the Commodores went to Tuskegee, and Tom Joyner went to Tuskegee, and nobody knows that he was one of the members of the Commodores, but he got kicked out because all of that. Seriously, you have to say that.
I had to look that up.
And Lionel Richie confirmed it. Lionel Richie said yes, he was part of the Commodores, and he got kicked out. And all their parents worked at Tuskegee as professors, as teachers. So to me, historically Black colleges and universities are needed, and that's why we need to support them. That's why whenever there are events at Morgan, I make sure I go to them. If Compton has something, I make sure I go to them to support them, because if we don't support them, because I think one of the universities just closed. It was Lincoln, because of some financial aid issues.
So not the Lincoln. I know people listen like, what? They closed my school. So not the Lincoln up in Pennsylvania. I think this was the Lincoln.
It was another Lincoln, but it was a historically Black college. Absolutely. I forgot where it was. But I was like, wow, they had to close because of the pandemic and financial issues.
Absolutely. So let's talk about sociology. So you have a degree in sociology. However, you an entrepreneur. So when you were at Eastern Shore, University of Maryland, Eastern Shore, were you involved in any entrepreneurial activities?
Actually, no. I was, you might as well say I was preparing myself for law school. So you didn't know, I didn't know I was going to be an entrepreneur. So I took a degree in sociology because they really did, in pre-law, because they really didn't have anything. Like, I didn't want to do criminal justice because I was like, I don't want to be a criminal defense attorney. I want to be like a business law attorney. And they really didn't have anything business. The business courses they had in curriculum wasn't really what I was interested in. And so I had an advisor named Dr. Mbai from Nigeria. And he said, take sociology, because as a lawyer, you got to understand, you have to study people, understand how people communicate, know how to interact with people, social interaction, because you're an introvert and you have to be an extrovert in order to be a good lawyer. So sociology helped me. I took a couple of social work courses so I could really be passionate and understand people. And that's when I twisted and said, well, maybe I'll do family law, because there's a lot of issues going on. By taking social work courses, I realized that there are children who really need representation. There are families that really need representation in court. So that's why I did sociology. But we really didn't have any back in the day when I went to school, like what you're doing now at Morgan, Amar, and what they're doing at Howard. Entrepreneurship was not placed in front of us. It was get a job, get a college degree so you could get a job with the government and get good benefits. My generation, I'm a 70s, 80s, 90s baby. And that's what we were told. Get a degree so that you can get a government job and get benefits and get retired good. That's all we were taught. And I love how the schools are starting to realize that every child is not meant to do a 9-to-5. Every child is not meant to sit behind a desk. Young people need entrepreneurship. And that was one thing that was not taught in our community until now.
So what led you to, from sociology to becoming an attorney? So what really led you to this entrepreneurial track that you're on now?
Well, I wish I would have had this entrepreneurial track like 25 years ago, because I think I would have still been a practicing attorney. Because when you go to law school, they just teach you how to be a lawyer. They just teach you how to litigate. They don't teach you the business side of being a good attorney. And it wasn't that many good mentors out there during my time 25, 30 years ago of Black attorneys who really wanted to work with you, not like how they are today. And long story short, when I had my practice, all they told you was get malpractice insurance and that will protect you. I didn't know how to handle money. I was not an accountant. I didn't know how to, make sure money stays in the escrow account, make sure you don't have the wrong people having access to your money. I'm hiring the secretary, letting her handle the money. And then the next thing I know, I'm getting a notice from the State Bar Association, you're about to beat this bar because your finances have been mishandled, and at the end of the day, it was my fault because the secretary didn't know what she was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. I had an accountant, but I didn't have a bookkeeper. And I thought the secretary knew what she was doing and she was mishandling my books. I'm trusting her. And that's why I'm passionate about what I do now, because I don't want entrepreneurs to make that same mistake I made. And that's why I went back. I went through the Small Business Development Center up there at the old Eastern High School through John Hopkins. I took a couple of courses and I took some courses at, CCB on accounting, I did a lot of business administration courses, whatever I could take so that I could be a certified business consultant. But I call myself a business educator because that's why I'm passionate about what I do, because I don't want people to make the same mistakes I did.
Absolutely. So let's jump right into it. What type of business do you have? And, who are some of the people that you're seeing?
The type of business I have is I am a business consultant. And it's the Ultimate Biz Consultants. And what we do is we educate aspiring entrepreneurs, small business owners, and seasoned entrepreneurs how to legally and financially protect your business, how to bankrupt-proof your biz and protect your biz assets. Because it's a lot of entrepreneurs out there who know how to make money, who know how to get the clients, but they don't know how to protect what they have.
Right. And that's important. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then what happens is they get that one customer that is not satisfied and that customer sues them. And then I'm like, well, do you have an LLC? Do you have liability insurance? And they're like, no, I don't have that. No, I'm a sole proprietor. And I'm like, I can refer you to an attorney, but it's going to cost you at least 10. The smallest retainer they're going to ask for is $7,500. Because you don't have all of those systems in place. And see, a lot of people are doing business, but they don't have those legal systems and financial systems or processes to protect their business. I went to a women's retreat and these women are making these T-shirts, these teddy bears, these logos. And I asked them, are you trademarked? And they don't like to talk about, people don't want to talk about this stuff. They get upset when you bring up, the financial, the legal aspect of stuff. If you come to me, I can make tell you where your weak points are in your legal systems, processes, your financial systems and processes. And I can refer you to colleagues of mine who can help you, but people don't want to spend the money.
Yeah, and that's important what you're saying. It's all about protection. You're right. People don't want to spend the money in the beginning. However, if something happens, they're there to say, "Oh man, I wish I would have done this way beforehand." And you mentioned something that's key. We need to pay attention to this too. Trademark. We're coming up with these great names and ideas. So we need to figure out a way to trademark that, and the insurance piece is truly important as well. So I really want you to dive more into this trademark, especially, trademark and copyright if you can. I know you're not an IP attorney, but if you can kind of talk about some of the things that we're doing, even on this particular show, we're using YouTube to produce content. So is there something that as entrepreneurs we should be aware of when it comes down to the content that we're putting out, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram?
You need to have an attorney on your business dream team. And when I talk about your business dream team, I'm talking about an accountant or tax professional. Make sure it's not Leroy the tax preparer, your cousin Leroy the tax preparer. I say that a lot. I get tired of people, my cousin. No, you need an accountant, tax professional. You need a financial professional, like a planner. You need a banker. You need a bookkeeper. You need that attorney, and you need that insurance agent, like what you had that time I was part of it. You had the perfect business dream team, and you need someone to help you put systems in place to make sure you have everything you need. And that's what the Ultimate Biz Consultants do. We are not just educators, we are connectors and networkers, where we go out there, we meet people like you, with Morgan, with the entrepreneur, program there, EDOT. We meet you, and then we take your information. So when somebody says, hey, I want to start, hey, you go here, and I try to set up referral system, programs with people where if I refer people to you, we get it back. But people don't understand that you need this. And then if you say, well, I can't afford an attorney. I see people talking about, oh, I got red bottom shoes. I got the Prada. I got this custom made suit. I look like Steve Harvey.
Red bottom shoes. What are you talking about, red bottom shoes?
Those women, it's a lot of business women who buy these red bottom shoes.
Oh, the red bottom. Okay. Yeah.
$750. You can take that $750 and put a retainer on an accountant.
Okay.
Or an attorney. We spend money on unnecessary stuff as business owners, and we constantly look at what other people are doing. Oh, she got this, she got that. But trust and believe, she has an attorney. She has her business dream team. Trust and believe me, she does. Because she wouldn't be out there doing what she does if he or she didn't. And you got to be smart. And like our friend Cerise said, there are 3 letters you do not want to mess with. The IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, and they will come. And you remember people were filing those false claims for the PP loans?
Yeah.
I had a lot of people come to me, and I said, I can't help you. And I referred them to attorneys. Wow. They were out there putting anything, and the government wasn't checking right then and there. And I kept telling them, the government is going to check you. They'll give you the money, but when it's time to pay that money back, you better have proof. And it was a few people that reached out to me, and I had to refer them to attorneys. And I had attorney friends that said, Donya, I really couldn't help them. I'm gonna do what I can, but they are in trouble. They are really in trouble. And people don't understand that you have to protect yourself. And with trademark, you have to trademark. What trademark means, and this is just for educational purposes only, whatever I give you, I educate you, I give you what you need. So when you go to that attorney, you have the right information, and that attorney can help you better. Trademark focuses on your brand name, your logo, your catchphrase. That's what trademark deals with. Like, the Ultimate Biz Consultants, Powerful Biz Woman, EDOC. That would be stuff that you would trademark. It's like your name, how you represent yourself, your slogan, your catchphrase. Hashtags can be trademark. I'm not for sure, but I think they can, but you need to talk to a trademark attorney to make sure. So trademark mainly deals with your business brand. What is your business brand? And copyright mainly deals with your books, videos like this, social media content. Even if, say, like I do the business affirmation every day, that needs to be covered and copyrighted. And you have some people out there that say, oh, all you gotta do is put the C and copyright, but they don't understand that when you write a book, you want to send it to the Library of Congress so that it'll be copyright. The copyright office is just as important as the trademark office. I went to a women's retreat and they were like, oh, I tell my clients, you don't have to copyright. Just put that C on it. I'm like, no, you don't need to tell them that. That's why they need to get an attorney so that they can understand how to really protect yourself. From a legal standpoint, like they say, send a poor man's copy to yourself. Through snail mail, people like, oh, I don't do that anymore. And I had one client who actually did that. She remembered to send the snail mail copy to herself, took it to the post office because somebody tried to steal her book. Same everything. They took everything she had put in that book collaboration. Wow. And she had proof that she did it. And she said, Donya, I told my attorney I have the snail mail because you told me to send it to myself, the poor man's copy. And he was like, you did that. I'm glad you listened to her because that protected you. And she was able to stop that person from, stealing her material.
Yeah, and I actually wrote that down, but I'm glad you covered that, because that is a good way to do that. So let me ask you a question as it relates to your business. So you say you do consulting, and I remember you were doing some conferences as well. So are you still doing the conferences where you kind of bring people together?
Yes, I am, but I'm not doing a big conference anymore. I'm breaking it down because I realized trying to get a big conference together, that was a little too much. So I'm having a conference in June, and I'm going to focus on the financial parts of being in business. And then I'm going to have a conference in September, and I'm going to focus on the legal parts of being in business.
Oh, I like that.
If everything goes well, I may do a big conference in 2023, but this year I'm breaking it down.
Okay. And how can, I should have said this at the beginning. So what's your website that people can?
It's www.ultimatebiz, as in zebra, conference.com.
And we'll definitely put that on the website too, so that people can look at that. So I do want to take you back to University of Maryland, Eastern Shore, and you kind of talked about some of this already. So how can HBCUs, especially Eastern Shore, foster entrepreneurship?
I think they need to connect with their alumni and see what their alumni is doing. Because UMES is not really, when it comes to alumni like Morgan and Howard, you're more proactive with it. UMES is starting to do it, but I think the HBCUs need to reach out to their alumni, stay in contact with their alumni, and have events that make the alumni want to come back. Because like Howard, Morgan, they make the alumni want to come back. I'm like, dang, I should have listened to my grandmother and went down the street to Morgan. Close to home. But I feel like Morgan is like one of my HBUs too, because it's right there. And I've seen it grow since the 80s. Because I remember it didn't have all the stuff that it has. I remember when they were first building the engineer building down the street off of Hill and Perrin Parkway. I remember when they were building that, and it just, to me, the HBCUs need to keep in contact with their alumni, let their alumni know what events they're having, send out emails on a regular basis, just tell their alumni, hey, if you have a business, we want to connect with you because we want you to be part of our solution to many problems we are facing. Because I would hate to see another HBCU have to close like the Lincoln did, because that was really sad.
Yeah, we definitely got to keep those HBCUs kind of moving forward. And I think us as alum can be one of the driving forces to do that, build up our businesses so we can get back to the universities that we graduated from.
Yeah.
So I do want to ask you, so how did participating or attending an HBCU? How did that help you out in business and in life?
Well, I attending UMES was like Hillman, a different world. UMES was just like Hillman,
Yeah.
where you had the house mothers look out for you.
Yeah.
And it just felt good. I wasn't part of the sororities. You know, I tried, but it didn't work out. But they were the sorority sisters, especially the AKAs, was so sweet because I knew half of them. They were real sweet. I was close to Deltas. You know, I was close to all the sorority sisters. And it was amazing. The brothers were okay, but it just felt good that you could go to your professor. See how your professor was, you know, when you had questions, because I was going to go to College Park first. And then when I saw that you would be assigned to a teacher assistant. And then if you didn't get what you wanted from the teacher assistant, then the teacher assistant would let the professor know, and the professor would let you know their availability. I said, no, I can't go to a school like this. And that's when I looked at UMES. And I was like, this is what I need, because I grew up in the city. I need to be down in the South. And it was country. Everything, Main Street only had, it was a gas station. That was it. And one supermarket way down the street. It had a Hardee's and a McDonald's, but that was it. But I really enjoyed it because I made some wonderful friends. You know, like one of my best friends, Manir, we've been friends since we were at UMES. So that's like over 30 years. You know, when I went to Las Vegas, I hung out with her at her house. She took me around the site. And that's another thing about HBCUs. You always make friends. And another thing I noticed that the majority of all my best friends went to HBCUs. Like my big sister, Jackie, she went to Howard. She went there in the 80s with, what's his name? Jesse Jackson's daughter. She knew her. So it's like everybody that I had met, they had went to an HBCU, and it's like a connection for us. And it doesn't matter to us which HBCU we went to. We just have this connection and fellowship with each other. And that's the wonderful thing about HBCUs. Like my niece, she went to University of Maryland Eastern Shore, my alumni, for 2 years, and then she graduated from Coppin. And I'm proud of her. And she went to City, my high school alma mater. So she followed in my footsteps, and she's doing great things. She's getting her master's in psychology. Okay. So HBCUs creates wonderful, smart, intelligent individuals.
Absolutely. So I second that. All right. So as we're wrapping up, is there anything else you want people to know about, you know, who you are, what you do?
Well, I just want people to know to just make sure that you get in contact with me. If you don't know an attorney, if you don't know an accountant, or get in contact with Amar, because we can connect you to people. Because as Black individuals out here in this world, we're starting these businesses and we want to leave a legacy. We don't want to leave a legacy of poverty, but prosperity. You know, so just make sure that you have all your legal systems and financial systems in place to protect what you have worked so hard to create, because you don't want that one customer to come and take it all from you, or that one, you know, issue that may come up legally or financially that can just drain you and cause you to close out your business. And that's what I want to leave with everybody. All
right. And once again, how can people reach out to you? Get that website out, your social
media. The website is www.ultimatebizconference.com, or you can contact us at info@ultimatebizconference.com. I mean, ultimatebizconference.com. And that's what the D.
All right, there you go. Donya Zimmerman, thank you for coming on to the HBCU Daily Grind. Really appreciate it.
And thank you for having me, Amar. You're so wonderful, and I appreciate you.
All right, likewise. I'm gonna play this music as we're going out. So don't forget, you can follow us at HBCU by Association. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and don't forget about our conference coming up. We got an HBCU Business Summit coming up on June the 11th. Head on over to our website. You can find more information about that. Until we meet again next week, continue to improve and progress. Peace.
Good night.